Hey, what's up, guys? Houston here. Look, if you're a beginner to the credit card game or you just getting back into the credit card game, then I'm going to tell you the best strategy in terms of how to approach getting the maximum amount of credit. Okay. Now, here's the thing about it you have to understand. Are you looking for credit cards because you want credit reward points? Are you looking for cashback rewards? Or you looking for credit cards for shopping, or it just doesn't matter? You just want high limit credit cards. All right. Now, you as a beginner, let's just say you have a brand new file. Okay. You never had no credit. Where do you start at? Okay. So you have four options. You have your fintech cards, and I'm going to break those down for you. You have your Vantage 3 cards, you have your Vantage 4 cards, and you have your FICO 9. Now, most people will say go for your FICO 8 credit cards. And the reason why I would tell you not to go for FICO 8 credit cards, that's like your Chase, Discover, Bank of America, American Express cards. The reason is you don't want to go for those credit cards starting out because they're going to give you the lowest limits. All right. They're going to give you smaller limits. So you should build the credit file up first before you approach them because you want to get the maximum amount of funding from those. All right. As a beginner. So what you have to do is nurture the file. One, fintechs. Okay, so let's start with the fintechs. All right, so your fintech companies would be like Avent, right? So with Avent, they, even though they start at 300 or whatever, uh they're easy to approve you with no credit. Okay, a good thing about it is that they're going to report to all three credit bureaus. All right, that's number one. Plus, a reason I said Avant, because you also can qualify for a personal loan, so you get a twofer, right? So where if you a beginner and you try to go to Bank of America, let's say Bank of America does give you a credit card, they may not give you a loan, right? So that's the reason I'm trying to give you the easiest avenue, right? So Avant, then you have the Tilt. Now, Tilt Engage, all right? And yes, it does charge an annual fee, but here's the thing about it. The annual fee is only $59. However, this is very important because where when you get a credit card, some of them want you to wait 6 months or a year in order to get credit limit increases. Well, with the Tilt credit card, you actually get 4 opportunities to do a credit limit increase. All right. And I'll just give you some examples. Like when you sign up for the card and you attach your checking account. All right. And this is also one of the better things about this here card. Now, let me tell you what Tilt came from. So if any of you all follow my videos and you see me talk about Patel, well, Tilt picked up Patel. They bought him out. All right. And so that's where Tilt came from. And so their lowest tier card is the Tilt and Engage card. And so with that Tilt Engage card, that's the one that charges the annual fee. Now, their limits go anywhere from 300 up to 3,500 as a beginner. Okay. Now, again, we was talking about the credit limit increases. All right. So if you attach your bank account, because it's not necessarily always about the credit score. So if you attach your bank account and they see deposits and stuff, they see the history on the job and stuff like that, this helps qualify you as well. So it's not just about the credit score. All right. And so when you attach the bank account, uh, that can give you a potential credit limit increase. Um, After 4 months, they will give you a credit limit increase. After 6 months of payments, they will give you a credit limit increase as well. Okay, so they're very good about increasing your limits. Where even like with Navy Federal, right? So say you had the Navy Federal card as a beginner. Sometimes I tell you start with the secure card, but we're gonna go back to that. But just incorporating that into my example, what I'm saying is that with Navy Federal, with their secure cards, you have to wait 6 months, right? But with the Tilt Engage as a beginner card, you only have to wait 4 months. 4 months, then 6 months. All right. So that's the reason why they're on the list. Then your next credit card you want to look at is like your Vantage 4 cards. Okay, so your Vantage 4 cards, those are the ones like if you have any medical debt, they don't include that. If you have any what is that, evictions on the credit file, they don't calculate that, you know. So they give you a lot of leeway in order to qualify for cards. And so the institutions for that, you're looking at like NASA. NASA, they do an Experian Vantage 4. You have a BMO Bank. They use TransUnion Vantage 4. You know, so those are some of the examples for that criteria. Again, you always want to work with the companies lowest hanging fruit. And I tell you a backdoor tip to actually help you getting higher limits as well is that when you add the authorized users, and if you're renting, adding rent payments, because not only will it age the credit file, okay, so by you aging the credit file, this also helps with the credit history, especially with the authorized user, because it's going to do three things. Age the credit file is going to reduce the debt to income ratio. However, you as an individual, guess what? If they have a strong credit score, or even if they don't have a strong credit score, but they have an old authorized user, okay, that's been under 10% utilization, well, guess what? That will automatically push you above a 700 just with that card alone. Now, I always tell people when authorized users, make sure you only use 2 of those. That's the reason, like when we offer the service, we actually explain to you the best authorized users that you should use to help give you the biggest impact on your credit. Okay. And so with the authorized users, just keep in mind, they will not help you with a FICO 8 institution like Chase, Bank of America, American Express. All right. So that's also something you have to take into consideration. Now, here's another thing. Like I said, with rental payments. So with rental payments helping to age the credit file as well. So that definitely will give you leverage there. Now, that being said, let's talk about Vantage 3. Okay, so your Vantage 3 institutions, those institutions again will work with you with an authorized user. And some of the credit unions I'm actually giving you, they're non-geo restricted. So that means that anyone can actually join these credit unions, okay? So just keep that in mind, all right? That being said, your Vantage 3, you have Baxter Credit Union, TransUnion Vantage 3. You have Veridian Credit Union, TransUnion Vantage 3. Now, Baxter Credit Union, you can join them through the Life Money U for $5, and they'll waive that $5. Now, when you join them, just keep in mind, they're going to do an over-the-phone interview. However, Veridian, they're going to want to do a face-to-face interview with you. All right. They're just verifying who you are and stuff like that. A lot of credit unions and stuff, they're starting to do more of this because they're trying to detect fraud and stuff like that. So that's the reason they're asking for that information. But again, the plus is that they're Vantage 3 institutions, so you can add on the authorized users. Now, here's another key thing that will also help you as a beginner to impact your credit score as well. And that is making sure you have some type of loan on the credit file. Now, here's my thing. I would tell you to do a secured installment loan. All right. So if you can't get a loan from like you have rooms to go, like they'll give you a high limit for furniture and stuff like that. You know, you have K Jewelers and stuff. However, I would go with the credit unions, and the credit union that I would pick. Now, most people, they would go with Navy Federal, and we'll come back to that because they are good. But the credit union I would pick is United Nations Federal Credit Union. And here's the reason why. The United Nations Federal Credit Union, if you do a secured loan, all right, they allow you to use 150% of what you put on. So if you put $100 on a secured loan, you are able to use $150 of that secured loan. So that's the reason why I would take into consideration with joining them as well, right? To get that secured loan. And they offer a secure card, and they're very flexible as well. So that's where I would start. That's when you need to level out the file, because here's the thing about it. You don't want to go in with a thin file, all right? And so a thin file, you usually have 4 or less trade lines on the file. And it makes it very challenging because there's no real history there for lenders to want to give you larger limits. So that's the reason why you should have 4 revolving and 1 installment, okay? That's definitely going to help you, all right? So that's the reason why I'm telling you, if you follow this game plan, this puts you to the maximum, so it'll make it much easier where you're able to get 5, 10, 15, $25,000 credit cards. And speaking of that, many people are not aware, when you're trying to get 5, 10, 15, $25,000, it's certain credit cards that you should be looking out for as well. All right. And so if you're enjoying the video, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment if this is beneficial, and you definitely can click the link in the description to schedule a one-on-one consultation. Now, here's the thing about it. There's certain credit cards. So you have your Visa Signature, your Visa Infinite, your MasterCard, World MasterCard, and then you have your World Elite MasterCard. All right. So when you're looking for high limits on credit cards, those are the type of credit cards you want to look for as well. All right. Now let's jump into this FICO 9, because there's a lot of FICO 9 institutions out there, and a lot of people don't know how to work them. All right. So coming up with a Navy Federal, if you're able to join. The most important thing about Navy Federal that you need to understand is making sure that you have a good internal score. Okay, so that internal score goes from 100 to 450. You want to try to get your internal score, and I'll tell you a hack. You want to get your internal score at least above 300. Now, so that's with direct deposits. Now, here's a hack. If you're self-employed, okay, and you're a beginner, what you want to do is register a business, and any of your side hustle money, have that paid into your business bank account, and you can transfer it over to your personal checking account, and that account as a direct deposit. So if you need help registering your business, reach out to us. We can actually help you do that, because we picked the right NAICS code, we picked the right business structure, plus we tell you the game plan in terms of helping you get the maximum amount of funding. Plus we look at other alternative strategies to help you choose a business or the right type of business to start. Okay, so that's one. Direct deposits. All right, you can also do another backdoor. If you have like a investment account, you can take a margin loan and transfer the money from your investment account over to your bank account. That counts as a direct deposit. Now, some credit unions, they will accept advancement off a credit card and accept that as a direct deposit as well. All right, but that direct deposit is definitely one of your prime keys. And if you work a job and you have direct deposit somewhere else, you can actually split up that direct deposit to make some of your deposit go over to Navy Federal. That's one of the keys. Then opening up the checking account, the flagship checking account. Now, you don't necessarily have to have the flagship checking account. If you have a regular checking account, long as you're doing at least 20 transactions per month, then that counts as well. Then having a savings account. Now, here's something that's key. When having a savings account, you want to make sure that you deposit anywhere from $25 or more weekly into that savings account. All right. Then after that savings account, making sure that you get either the starter CD or money market account. Okay. And I think starter CD is like maybe about $50, right? However, the purpose of all it is having multiple accounts, especially as a beginner. Now, also another key, if you have somebody like we sell our authorized users for Navy Federal, and the reason is because when you are with, if you have somebody that's been with Navy Federal and that has a good relationship with Navy Federal, and they add you on as an authorized user, that also potentially gives you the opportunity to get higher credit limits as well. All right. So that's Navy Federal. They use TransUnion FICO 9. Then you have Penn Fed. Okay. So with Penn Fed, in terms of using their credit cards and stuff like that, they're going to use Equifax FICO 9. All right. Now, here's the thing about it that's good about credit unions versus a bank is that you can use one hard pull most of the time and get multiple products. So that means that you may be able to get a loan as well as a line of credit. Okay. So that's the reason why I would I would tell you to consider these here institutions. Now, then you have another FICO 9 that's Connector Credit Union. They use Experian FICO 9. You also have Langley Credit Union. They use Equifax FICO 9 as well. Now, I'm going to throw you a curveball. So check this out. DCU, Digital Credit Union, okay? They use a Equifax Mortgage 5 score to give you credit and stuff like that. And yes, they're very flexible in terms of working with beginners and stuff like that. So I would definitely put them on the radar as well. But the main concept when you are building, you notice I didn't say Capital One Platinum, but however, that's an option. And you also have a Mission Lane. That's an option as well. I was trying to make sure that you have a spread. And the reason you want to have a spread, so that way you don't get all these, some of them is going to do soft pull, so you may not even end up with a hard pull. But like with the credit unions and stuff, you may end up with the hard pull or whatever. But you don't want these hard inquiries to stack up all at once. So that's the reason why I'm giving you these here institutions spread out to give you more leverage. All right. Now, again, if you have any question about business credit funding, personal credit funding, removing negative items off the credit, click the link in the description. Schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.